Howdy, real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host and business partner, Joey Sampaga. I don't know if you have a plan today. He's usually the man with the plan. How about the man with the method? Can we just change it up a bit?
That works. The man with the method. I like that. Let's do it.
You having a good time?
I am having a good time. We just went to an awesome breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs.
Ooh, yeah!
We are. We got a great guest with us today. And that guest is Mike Tiers, designated broker with Guardian Realty and Management. How are you doing, Mike?
I am doing well. How are you?
Good. Fantastic.
It's a great day out.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Coming out to the studio. So let's get started. I know we talked about some things before, but let's introduce you to the guest. Obviously, the majority of people that listen or watch are going to be agents.
Right.
We actually have agents, not just local either, but we do have some that are across the country.
Yeah.
We've actually had some downloads from outside the country, which is kind of cool. But why don't you share a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the business, and kind of what got you into real estate in general?
Well, I'm a Phoenix native. Grew up right in the center of town near 15th Avenue in Missouri. Used to walk across 15th Avenue to school when it was a dirt road.
Wow.
Which kind of ages me a little bit, I guess, but it's my reality nonetheless. Graduated ASU and ultimately got a real estate license in 1976, so I'm now in year 41. Went to work for a company called Tom Fannin Realty, which is one of the preeminent companies here in town at the time.
Okay.
In residential resale. At the time, Fannin had recently opened a residential leasing department, transitioned into that department because I was young and poor and broke, and it was quicker, easier money. Did that for a while, loved it, and then took a more salaried position as the manager of the residential property management department.
Got it. Okay.
In '81, Fannin sold out to Merrill Lynch Realty and ultimately decided to close down their property management division. So I went to them with my heart in my hands because I knew my butt was on the line and I was about to get fired. And I asked, what are you going to do with all your management portfolio? And they said, we're going to terminate them with a 30-day written notice. Now, in 1981, I think maybe faxes were just getting invented.
Yeah.
And email was still a few decades in the future. And I said, hey, man, our clients are all over the world. It's going to take 2 weeks for them to get the letter, and then they've got 2 weeks to find a new manager. How about giving them a 60-day notice and suggesting that they come to me because they all know me anyway? And that is what happened. So on November 1st of 1981, at the age of 29, I opened up Guardian Management. In the first month I was open, my take-home pay was $2,000 more than I'd been making.
Wow.
And since that time, we have grown into Guardian Realty and Management and have managed literally thousands of properties for owners that live all over the world.
Wow. Okay.
And here we are today.
Yeah. No, that's... So you have been in the business for a while.
41 years, man. And it's
you've seen a lot of changes.
I just love the real estate industry.
Right.
I really do. And I didn't, I never grew up aspiring to be a realtor. I heard a former guest watching your prior podcast, I think her name was Susan Ramsey, and Susan said, I loved looking at houses. And I loved looking at houses too. But what I didn't like was the cold calling aspect of it. And that's why I transitioned out of sales into leasing, because at that time, the way the business was structured, the leads were fed to us. So there was no doors slamming in my face to hurt my tiny little feelings, and it just worked, and it has evolved from there.
Okay, all right. Before the show, I know you were talking about that, the comparison, I guess, of what you're doing now, or the leasing side versus the sales side on residential sales. So go ahead and elaborate on that. I like how you...
Well, I think what worked for me at the time was that I surrounded myself with good people in terms of repair people and contractors that I needed to work on properties when there was a mechanical component that was failing. And so I was able to structure a life that was more of a Monday through Friday. I wasn't driving people around who would then often maybe not buy from me.
Yeah.
I was able to have a balanced family life. I was able to raise my kids. And what I especially liked about it is I was able to have a decent and good, steady income, even through all the various cycles. Because when the cycle was up and people's homes were appreciating in value, they didn't want to sell it.
Right.
They were moving, they had to move, but they didn't want to lose that appreciation. And then when the market tanked 8 years ago or 9 years ago, and they still had to move and they couldn't sell it, it was the best thing that ever happened to my business. I was exploding with new business.
Yeah.
Okay. Now at this point, I'm losing some of that business because that pent up demand to sell can now be realized.
Yes.
So I've got two sources of a client base, really. I've got the individual homeowner or investor that will approach me and say, tell me about your services, and I hope to work with them. But the more important element of my business or client base are the realtors with whom I work, who refer business with me or to me, and they know that they can trust me to handle it professionally and competently,
right.
and that when that client then wants to sell, I will get it back to them. So I work with some really great people in town. I work with the Tom Bryants and the Pat Martins at HomeSmart. I work with Josephina Cannell and Susan Thomas at Realty Executives, and I do a ton of work with the Callaways. So, I've got really trusted relationships, and that's where I am right now. I want to grow that.
Right. So if agents want to reach out to you directly,
please,
to find out more.
Yeah.
I mean, we usually do this at the end, but you might as well throw. How would somebody reach out to you?
No, please do. Guardian Realty and Management, 602-861-2300. We work pretty much valley-wide. We do limit ourselves to unfurnished properties that rent long-term, so we don't do vacation rentals. I would love to talk to them, or they can visit our website, which is gramhomes.com for Guardian Realty and Management. Guardian Realty and Management Homes.com.
Good. All right. Well, you heard it there. You can reach out to Mike directly if you'd like to. So why don't you share a little bit more about why would a consumer want to hire you over a competition?
I am asked that question frequently, and the answer is always the same. Our company is I would call it a boutique company, because doesn't that sound cool to say that you have a boutique company? Except that we are a small company. Basically, we're a 3-person company. So you always have access to the people who own the property or the property management company. You're not dealing with the employee of the day. And I encourage anybody that calls me to shop to check us out through the Better Business Bureau and our record with the Arizona Department of Real Estate. We have a pristine record at both of those levels. I'm a strong believer in giving back to our real estate community. I serve on the AAR Professional Standards Committee for the last 15 years. I've been a board member of the Phoenix Association of Realtors. I currently am accredited at the state level to teach real estate ethics. So don't laugh. I mean, I had somebody said, Mike, you're talking about ethics. I go, we're talking on a professional level here. So, yeah.
Not on the personal side.
No, right? I'm a pretty okay guy all around.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So 41 years. Gosh, I mean, has the industry changed? I mean, just the market in general.
My God.
I mean, what?
So when I teach, one of the things I talk about is, because I'm so damn old now, getting into the business in 1976, and a residential real estate purchase contract was 1 legal page long.
Wow.
Okay. There was no seller property disclosure. There was no home inspection industry. No one was concerned about mold. I can remember a property where I had so much moisture in 2 layers of the roof, but we didn't think about mold. I mean, those people were probably living in toxicity, but nobody knew to think about it. And so that's how it's changed. So our duties to the public have increased and increased and increased, and thereby our liability has increased and increased and increased. Because every time there's a lawsuit and we are named as a defendant and we lose that suit, that news travels through our local association to our national association, and more laws, more litigation, more regulation. but it is all to benefit, the buying and selling public. So I guess that's okay.
Right. So you've seen the changes in the documentation or requirements on, writing these contracts out and everything. But I can't imagine the change in just the city. I mean, you mentioned a dirt road.
15th Avenue. I mean, anybody who's been in Phoenix very long, that 15th Avenue is like the core of the city.
Yeah.
But that was not the case in 1959 when I was going to first grade.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's grown incredibly. But I guess I don't really know it like the back of my hand anymore.
No.
I mean, I know the core areas, and I'm pretty familiar with going out to Gilbert or Chandler or Verrado or something like that.
Yeah.
But nobody can know it all anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's too big. It's too big. How about one thing that's made the biggest impact in your business? What do you think?
I guess I would have to say maturity. When I got into the business, all of my clients were older. It was a different time. They were all addressed by me as Mr. and Mrs. I wore a necktie to work every day. Now it's more casual. Now all my clients, of course, are way younger than me, which kind of sucks, but it's true. So, and maturity. I don't stress over things that I don't need to stress about anymore. And some of that came from my dad. One day I was crying on his shoulder like 30 years ago about, I'm so worried about this thing. He goes, son, you are not making enough to worry that much.
Wow.
And, I thought, my management fee at the time on a property was maybe $50 a month. And I was wide awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, son, you're not getting paid enough to worry that much.
Yeah.
And so now I worry about things like the well-being of my family and health. But I don't worry about things that aren't that important.
Yeah. Okay.
Anymore. It
that's great.
just comes with age and maturity and knowledge and experience.
No, we all need to get that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someday, right?
Someday.
How about we?
I don't ever want to totally grow up. No.
All right. Well, let's not grow up right now. Let's get in the ring. How about that?
Let's get in your ring. Yeah.
There we go. So, how about the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
The best advice that anybody ever gave me was when I was a little kid. We had gone on a family vacation for one of my parents' high school reunions to Chicago, and we were staying in a suburb called Oak Brook. And the resort that we were staying at had a swimming pool with a high dive. And as weird as this sounds, because you wouldn't see this now, but there was a swimming pool in a hotel with a high dive and a lifeguard. And my older brother and I went to the pool one morning, probably 9 o'clock. I had never jumped off a high dive. And I got up on top of the high dive board, and I looked down to planet Earth, and I thought, there's no way I can do this. and my older brother is taunting me, and I was just frozen with fear. And the lifeguard looked up to me, and he said, the longer you stand there, the higher it gets. And I jumped. And that I have carried with me in my whole life. Whenever you have a fear, the longer you hold on to it, the bigger it gets. It grows and grows and grows until you travel through it.
Yeah.
So I often remember that when I'm stuck. The longer you stand there, the higher it gets.
I like it.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that is really cool.
Uh-huh.
I was a lifeguard back then.
It wasn't you.
No, not back then, I guess, right? How about your favorite mobile app? Waze, W-A-Z-E.
We've heard that a couple times already.
Yeah, I'm so tired of being lost. And I can't figure out how to use navigation on my car.
Oh, that's funny. How about a book recommendation?
There is, God, please, listeners, read these two books. One is called A Faithful Son, and one is called Aunt Suki and Me, both written by the same local author named Michael Scott Garvin. He lives near 7th Street in Glendale. And it's not just that I know him a little bit. I don't know him well, I know him a little bit. It's his style of writing. It is just incredible. These are both totally different stories on totally different topics, but the guy has a mastery of language and painting a tapestry with words that's amazing.
Wow.
All right.
Give those a look.
How about a productivity tool or software that you use on a regular basis?
Okay, I was expecting this question, and I'll tell you what it is. It's a yellow legal tablet. Okay, it is way I live my life. There is a list. It starts in the morning. it gets A priorities crossed off of it, B priorities crossed off it, C priorities crossed off of it, and then if I'm really still have any energy, then I go to the gym.
There you go.
And then I start all over the next day, the sim again.
Well, that's one of Jeff's
Yeah,
favorite
it works for
tools,
me.
right? Jeff?
I've used yellow notepads for a long
There's
time.
one sitting right on the table. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one in my backpack here. All right, last question. I'll have you draw it from the mask.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
Yeah, and I'm supposed to. Oh, yeah, I do have glasses. Okay. Okay, my question is, what is the most adventurous thing you've ever done? About 26 years ago, I took 3 weeks off and traveled to Asia by myself. My brother and sister-in-law were serving in the Peace Corps in the Philippines. I traveled to their village in the jungle where they had just got running water for 2 hours a day. Wow. And there was one hut in the village that had electricity with a refrigerator, so you could have a gin and tonic. And from there, I traveled on a bus, the roof of a bus, sitting on rice bags throughout a lot of the Philippines. Ended up in Hong Kong, ended up in Bali, and it really was an Indiana Jones type of adventure. I would love to do it again.
Wow, sounds like a great trip.
It was a good trip. It was a good trip.
You should do it again.
Well, you know, it's all possibility. I've got a bucket list I'm working on.
All right, all right. No, thanks for sharing that, and thanks for coming in.
Awesome.
Hey, my pleasure.
You know, you gave some things I don't think we've had a lot of guests really talk about on the show.
New.
So this is something new.
Good.
And it's great. Go ahead and say one more time phone number in case the agents want to reach out to you directly.
Please do reach out to me. I really would like to help agents support their business.
Yeah.
Guardian Realty and Management, 602-861-2300.
All right. Well, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
And Security Title Studios thanks you as well.
My pleasure.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys. Have
Until
a great
next
day.
time, this is Jeff Underwood along with
Joey Sampaga.
the Maniacs signing off. Take care. All right. Great job.
Good one.
That was fun.
The Weekly Closer podcast is sponsored by Jake Krabby, NMLS number 877141 at Academy Mortgage. Are you looking to buy or refinance a home? Jake Krabby is your mortgage professional. Contact Jake at 480-442-9291. Jake Krabby is a loan officer at Academy Mortgage, NMLS number 877141. State license for Arizona number 0920357, AZBK number 0904081, and New Mexico number 877141. Academy Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 3113, and New Mexico 01451. Call 480-442-9291. Address 15333 North Pima Road, Suite 205, Scottsdale, Arizona 85260. Academy Mortgage is an equal housing lender.